everybody, it's April 13th. We just had snow yesterday, as you can see. My neighbors even made a snowman. So it's been pretty cold. Our last frost date isn't for a couple more weeks, but today I can plant out my snapdragons and any other cold hardy annuals. This down here is Orlea. A lot of it's self-seeded. The last couple years I've started selling my bouquets, especially last year, started selling them at my mailbox. So I use Orlea as a cut flower. I have some rose campion in here, some yarrow. I just added these solar lights. We share our driveway with our neighbors, and sometimes between the landscapers and our neighbors' friends, sometimes this area gets driven over. It's right against our driveway, so I kind of put these here sort of to block drivers from running over my plants. Hopefully that works out. More rose campion over here. I have to do a lot of weeding and thinning out. I think this might be seedlings from brown-eyed Susan, but I'm not sure. Gotta wait for them to get a little bigger. We have a lot of peonies just starting to pop up. As you can see, those are peony stalks. Over here, this is Love in a Mist. I seeded this in the fall. It overwintered. We have some daffodils. A lot of dead grass I have to clean up, dead foliage. More yarrow over here with a lot of blanket flower and some lavender. I see I need to move this peony plant further in. I had moved this last summer, but our street got paved and somehow it is now on the very edge of the street. Over here is a lilac shrub next to a crepe myrtle, and I love the crepe myrtle because the bark is beautiful. It's like a really pale peeling bark. And this is the last thing to leaf out in the spring. It blooms in late August and September. This bed is going to have a lot of irises and poppies. There's some daffodils. I have this walkway. This is a little second driveway that we have here. This is lined with basket of gold alyssum and soapwort. So in a couple weeks, this will look really nice. And these shrubs here are red twig dogwoods. I'm not sure I'm going to keep them here. They get pretty big. And they've never flowered. The deer nibble on them. So this is like our 4th or 5th year with them. I'm hoping this year that they flower. If anyone has a red twig dogwood and it does flower, let me know. It's supposed to flower. So basically I have this big front garden bed here. And I do grow mostly perennials, but I have over the last couple of years started to grow more annuals, and I'm growing annuals again this year for cut flowers to sell at my mailbox right there. Over in this garden bed, there are a lot of snapdragons that came up from, they were planted like 2 years ago, and a lot of them returned, but I did start some new snapdragons over the winter that I'm going to be planting in here today. This daffodil, I think, is the Dutch Master. I could be wrong. This is the basket of gold alyssum, which is spreading a little bit, mixed in with some feverfew. And there's just a lot of little snapdragon seedlings here. And for some reason, these peonies, there's a lot of weeds in here, excuse the weeds. These peonies are doing really well. They're like really growing quickly compared to all my other peonies, but I need to get rid of this grass. Over here we have some more daffodils. I really want to remove this juniper. It's lovely, but it just doesn't do anything for the space. And I'd love to put in some like clethra bushes or maybe even evergreen, a couple evergreen shrubs. This is the front of our house. So I just don't think it really belongs in this spot. Then there's some daylilies coming up, and yes, the deer do eat my daylilies, so I have to spray the lilies with deer repellent. An animal dug up these bulbs. I think they're daffodil bulbs, but I'm going to be planting those. I found them in the yard. I just started potting up a couple things. I got these hyacinths that I'm going to be planting, and they'll bloom for me next year in the garden. This is Frizzle Sizzle Raspberry Pansy, and I put some little, I put some alyssum seeds in there, so there's going to be alyssum growing in this planter as well. And these are some strawberries I bought recently that I need to plant. And here are some specialty daffodils. They're all flopping over from the rain and the snow, but I believe this one is Del Nasha. I think all of these are Del Nasha. They're really nice. They just, they have long stems and they will flop in the rain. But they'll perk back up a little bit. But this bed has gotten chewed up by the deer. There's a lot of daylilies in here. And we had some daffodils down here. So excuse all the weeds. And then over in this garden bed I have some shrubs. I have some Josie Lilacs that will be blooming probably in 3 weeks. I have some white hyacinths. They smell amazing. They flop a little bit when they get really big. There's another Josie Lilac. In this garden bed I used to have a lot of Sweet Williams, and I will be planting Sweet Williams in the fall to overwinter, but a lot of them died out. So this bed is pretty bare, but I'm going to be planting the Sweet Williams in the fall. Okay, so this garden bed is where I plant a lot of my dahlias, and a deer got into it. There was an old pumpkin that we put in here, and a deer completely came in and knocked over the fencing, so I have to reestablish the fencing. But this is where I grow most of my dahlias and my celosia. Over here I have another hyacinth, but as you can see, the deer just chomped at these. They're not supposed to like hyacinths, but we really have a deer problem here. This bed is lined with beautiful peonies that are coming up, some daffodils, and a lot of the basket of gold alyssum, which is a yellow bloom. And then I have some weeding to do, but this is creeping phlox. It's a pink creeping phlox. You can still see some snow here. Crazy. I tried to remove this lilac shrub because it was dying, but it came back and it looks like it can reestablish itself. It was hard to dig up all the roots, so I think I had left some roots in the ground and it started growing.